All right, so here we are, guys. I hope you've taken a nap in the afternoon or whatever it is you do. I know I took a really nice nap, woke up half an hour ago, and let me tell you, man, these times that we're living through right now with the coronavirus have been as strange for even for us who teach people psychotherapy and for those of us who are in the mental health space as I think for all of you all. It's just that we're all dealing with it in different ways. So that brings us to the topic of today's talk. I call it hacking friendships. And I think I've misspelled friendships to see how many of you all were paying attention. No, that was a genuine typo from my side. It's friendships with an S, not friend hips. All right. Now, I work for the Heart to Heart Counselling Centre, which is India's first autonomous counseling training facility. Now, what does this mean? We have been training people to become to become well versed in counseling skills, sort of teach them to bring all that knowledge to their professions, to their lives since 1986. And we train 500 plus students per year, and these students go on to maybe develop themselves into practitioners. Maybe they start NGOs together. So we have courses, and we've gone completely online because of the coronavirus. Of course, video conferencing technology has come to the rescue, so we have that too. So later, if you have any questions about what we do, this is a little bit about us. You can see my company website, and the number concerned is there at the bottom. Take a screenshot of this just to let you know, to contextualize to you कि आखिर ये डॉक्टर अमन भोसले क्या चीज़ है, कहाँ से. So yes, I'm a Bombay boy. I was born here, and I have been to many colleges before. If you notice, somewhere hidden in there is your college logo as well. I love speaking to college students because I think there's just so much fun and energy. And I remember when we were in college, we were up to no good as well. I mean, it was a lot of fun for me to get back into that kind of vibe. Of course, this is very different here. It feels like I'm talking only to myself because I can't see anyone else. But I'm sure when we do some Q&A, I will know how many people have attended. I believe we have 99 participants, 100 participants now. So this is an exciting room. It's a big room. I have worked with many brands. Now, if you Google me later, you will notice that I've had a very long and successful career as a media professional as well. Specifically, I used to deal in something called creative solutions. So I basically helped move products. I helped create promotional strategies, advertising strategies, and communications through videos, etc., for a lot of different TV shows, for different brands. And I've been doing this since 2005. And then I decided, for several reasons, to sort of refocus the energies of my life towards mental health because I really have a passion for people, talking to people, sharing stories with people, and sort of helping them get out of a mess that they may feel that they've gotten into. So just the reason I put this slide is to show off. I'm being very honest, mostly to myself, because when I was in school and I was in college, I used to get into a lot of trouble with my teachers, and a lot of them used to tell me things like, "You're unemployable, you're too naughty, you ask too many questions, you're always laughing, why are you always in your own world?" And I mean, you can make it work. So the media also very often carries my quotes. I collaborate with a lot of these brands, or have collaborated with them in the past. So again, a little bit of vanity at the start. Why not, right? Why not? Because because my introduction was so short. Usually I do these talks and they'll read out my entire Instagram profile, and even I'm like this. I'm like, acha, ooh, okay. So this was a nice introduction. Thank you very much, Divya, and thanks you guys for having me here. Honestly, I think I'm really excited to be talking to you all about the topic of hacking friendships. Fingers crossed. Yes, I have correctly spelt the word friendships here. Now, when I was a kid, we used to go to Juhu Beach, and it was actually empty. In the late 1980s and early 90s, Juhu Beach wasn't the mela that it is today. And my mother used to take me to build sand castles, and she used to always tell me that, Aman, the sand by itself cannot be turned into a castle, and the water by itself cannot be turned into a castle, but it is the combination of sand and water that helps make a sand castle. However, all sand castles eventually get wiped away by the tide. So a friendship, any friendship, a friendship you make because you guys go to the same tuitions, maybe you all are in the same building, taking the same lectures, the same classroom, maybe you all have common friends, maybe you all have met at someone's birthday. Wherever you've made these friends, remember your relationship with them is like a sandcastle. It is a delicate balance of two completely different elements that combine into making something really, really interesting. But the tide is there. The tide can wipe that friendship away. And the metaphor of tide is, we've heard the expression, the tides of time. Sometimes in time you realize you've outgrown a certain friendship. Sometimes you feel like that friendship doesn't mean to you what it used to mean to you at the beginning, maybe because you've changed, your priorities have changed, your life has changed, your schedule has changed, your goals have changed, your preferences have changed. So much can change, and therefore that friendship also starts meaning different things. So always remember the analogy of the sandcastle. Uh, as much as it's fun to make that beautiful sandcastle, all those tools, I don't know how many of you all have done that. I used to really love making sandcastles. Beware of the tides. All right. Now, I wasn't born at age 34. I was a child. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, I was very young once. And without a beard. This is from the year 1996. All right. Long, long time ago, I went to a boarding school. Long time ago, the world didn't have any internet. I spent 6 years on that hill. If you see that photo on the left, there's a little hill out there, and my school was on that hill. This is not Mussoorie, okay? This is actually Pune in the Sahyadri Mountains. And I was a very lonely and confused child because I was made to feel by my teachers that I was very, very different from all the other boys. Now, you can see my photo with this geography teacher, essentially on my first day of school, standing next to her, and on my last day of school. So you can tell how long I lived on that hill just by seeing I've become slightly taller than her over the 7 years that I was there. So I was very lonely and confused because now, why am I talking about this? A lot of teachers used to pretend to be our friends so they could get us to do what they want us to do, or so that they could get us to tell them what other teachers think about them. These are adults. Adults are clever. Adults are smart. But they're not as smart as the internet, which we didn't have. We didn't have the internet in 1996. A lot of y'all are born in the 2000s after 9/11. We didn't have the internet, so we couldn't cross-check anything anyone told us, which brought me to my life's first lesson related to friendships. And I want to share this because it's very personal to me. The first is that there are a lot of cliques within a school. So we're talking about me on the hill in the pre-internet era where my teachers used to pretend to be my friends. This must have happened with you as well. Teachers playing favorites, teachers liking some students more than other students. Must have happened with you also. So these cliques get formed based on which students do well academically, which do not. These cliques get formed of which students are good at sports and which are not. And we realize that these cliques in school are actually a small microscopic picture of what the real world is like, because as you grow up you realize that these cliques are there and their main job is to protect and define its members. No one really hates you, no one's really out there to punish you, but cliques are usually there for the members that belong to it. This is why Zuckerberg created Facebook, because he realized that it ain't easy to get inside these cliques. You know, in America, if you go to university, you have sororities and fraternities, and they make you do some really embarrassing stuff to get in. So that was his inspiration. So when I was in school, I realized that, not everyone might want to be your friend unless you come from a clique and unless you are backed up with all that information, all right? As I moved on, I went to Xavier's College, and yes, it is possible for me to not have facial hair. A lot of people have been asking me what I used to do in college. Aapke college ke time mein kaisa tha? What I used to do when I was in college was I used to wear chappals and go and eat fried rice. And I used to enjoy that because that's pretty much what a lot of people in my class were doing. Half our lectures would get cancelled. And Xavier's was a strange time because I actually started making friends for the first time in my life. I realized that, okay, I don't need to be a part of a pre-existing clique. Maybe I could create my own clique. And then as I continued in Xavier's, as you can see, extreme left, first day of college, extreme right, last day of college, I realized that fitting in to like any circle of friends is less about those friends and more about me trying to redefine my own values. So your values are a combination of what your family has taught you, what you've observed in society, the kind of movies you grew up watching, the kind of psychological processes that are dynamic in you, which define and make your personality a certain way. So we start searching for our tribe. And this is why peer approval is so important, especially at this age, when you hit your late teens and enter your early 20s, because you want to define who you are as a person. So there's nothing wrong in wanting to make friends. But what happens when you try to make friends at the workplace? So I worked in a Malaysian jungle because there were no other jobs out there after my MBA during the great global recession. Now, the only friends I had during this time, I think, were the animals that I had to work with, because honestly, the people used to confuse me, and especially when you're at the junior most level of any organization or mass effort, people usually have you doing a lot of dirty stuff. You can see me in the right, actually lying down in a coffin. This was part of one of the stunts. I was working on a reality show. As you can see, one guy is taped to a wheel, and that wheel will get spun. All kinds of crazy things used to happen. I could see me in the top left going a little bit mad. Yes, I used to have very long hair. Now I have no hair here. I've taken it off. So I realized that, what happens when you start working is everyone is not who they say they are, because technically everyone who works with you is also competing with you, so they may not want what's best for you, which is the classical definition of someone who's your friend. Who's a friend? A friend is someone who's a well-wisher. A friend is someone who wants what's best for you. A friend is someone who's really there by your side. A friend is someone who gives you perspective. A friend is someone who loves you, but also isn't afraid to tell you things as they are. All right? And we'll explore this. So then, as you grow up, currently Bombay College of Pharmacy students, but once you grow up, if you leave the country, you'll just be seen as Indian number 265, one among many. You'd be seen because of your skin color, your accent, your knowledge, your specialty, or just by your name. All right. Now, here are 6 truths about people in the adult world. And since we're talking about friendships and relationship dynamics and how to deal with it, and I'll be talking about the coronavirus implications as well a little bit later, so be patient. These are 6 truths about people in the adult world. One is people, I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of people are very lazy, extremely lazy and lethargic. They will not change their personalities, their habits, their schedules, their preferences. They will change nothing for you. So if you are under the impression that just because someone is your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your best friend or your colleague or your cousin or your mother's best friend's child, they're going to change for you because you don't like how they are, stop living in a dream, my friends. All right, people are lazy. No one likes to change. All right, no one likes to change at the drop of a hat. The only time people change is when they are in sufficient trouble with themselves or with their circumstances. Now, the second point is people are very resourceful. If you nudge them in a certain direction, they will budge. So when you want something to be done, you will find a way to get it. Especially during this lockdown, we've all wanted, यार chicken नहीं मिल रहा है हमारे area में, यार cheese नहीं मिल रहा है, यार दूध नहीं मिल रहा है. A lot of things were locked down, a lot of rush, a lot of crowding at shops. But WhatsApp के through सब कुछ मिलने लगा है. People are also very insecure as adults. But what happens is, as you grow older, you start becoming a better actor. You start becoming better at hiding your fears and anxieties and doubts. You become a lot more adept at putting that mask on. A lot of people, and you'll be surprised, maybe even your parents, grandparents live in the past and worry about the future, but very few are actually living in the present. क्या होगा अभी कोरोना वायरस से हम सब मरने वाले हैं, we're going to wear masks forever. Trying to predict the future. यार 2008 में हमको iPhone आने वाला था, ये भी पता नहीं था. And we're trying to bloody predict the future, even though we have such a fantastic and hilarious track record of getting it wrong. So people are insecure because of their inability to predict the future and because they keep living in the past. मेरे साथ बहुत बुरा हुआ. And most people are like this. So these are some things you need to know at the outset before you start looking to make friends, looking to build relationships, looking for your loved ones, your future romantic partners. Understand that a lot of people are going through this. People are jealous. People want what they want. मेरे को चाहिए. If you have a big car, a nice house, a good view from your apartment, if you have a lot of things that are coveted, chances are that they also say, यार, मुझे भी चाहिए. So jealousy is very common, especially among adults. Forget about the adults who live outside your house. Yeah, even within the family, even within siblings, even perhaps between your father and his siblings and your chacha, chachi, mama, mami, tauji and all, there must be jealousy factors. Sometimes regarding what they have, sometimes regarding their children. So people are people, which is the Fifth point. Everyone is a shade of grey. 50 shades of grey. Not that. All right. They're a shade of grey, which means that they will have some redeeming qualities and they will have some, as my geography teacher used to say, rubbish qualities. What is this rubbish? All right. Everything was rubbish when she didn't like it. The one in the photo. People are people. People are limited. We have strengths and we have weaknesses. Different people have different strengths and different weaknesses. So if you're looking for some kind of perfect friend, I don't think he or she exists. Now, adulthood is all about being selective. As you grow up, you realize that your time is very, very valuable to you. Sometimes people will even pay you for your time as you become an expert. For example, doctors, lawyers, therapists are paid for their opinions and for their time. So as you grow up, you realize that I need to be selective. So I just can't indiscriminately call everyone my friend. There's a certain age where everyone's your best friend. There you have one palak dosa with that person in the canteen and they're suddenly your friend. But as you grow up, you realize your criteria is a lot more well defined, or it becomes more more observation based, isn't it? So as you grow up, your criteria changes, your needs change, your preferences change, and that's not a bad thing. That's fantastic. That means you're evolving. That means you're that much smarter now. That means you have learned that much more about human beings and the human condition. All right? And the reason being is that we need people because we are people. Human beings around us intellectually stimulate us whether we like it or no. Even your building security guard and your maid, in some way, if they talk to you, they're intellectually stimulating you. All right? And we need that because we're social creatures, because we have formed civilizations, because we have formed, even our buildings have these little coronavirus specific teams and committees, because we like consensus, because we live off the consensus. And that is a very beautiful thing, and that is also a very complicated thing, because as they say, too many people come into the equation. Who's your friend, who's your enemy? This becomes difficult to ascertain. So we'll be exploring some of that criteria as well. And just a reminder, guys, I'm not sure if this meeting will end abruptly at any point, because I don't know if Rushabh, Divya and Rahul have the premium version of Zoom. But if that happens, log in again and we'll continue where we stopped, exactly like how it happened when we had that little bit of a disconnection. All right, so don't worry if the meeting suddenly ends abruptly. I'm still here. I'm going nowhere. I will not leave till I've answered at least most of your questions. So don't ever look down on yourself for needing people. I'm so needy, I need people. No, you're a human being. Of course you need people. It's how you would stay inspired. It's how you stay connected. It's how you stay curious. It's how you feel relevant to the larger scheme of things. And that's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. So we were supposed to talk about icebreakers, and that's exactly what I'm going to now start touching on. So what are these 5 icebreakers that you can incorporate when you're meeting somebody new? One thing that people really forget is that being brief, succinct, to the point is a very, very good quality. Even if you are leading a team someday and you have a really successful startup or a business, if you keep what you want to say very short and very organized, people will respect you because they will subconsciously start believing in the fact that you respect their time. And that, some people now, because of video conferencing technology, are in these 1 hour, 2 hour meetings. And at the end, they say, I'm so tired after this meeting. कि जो मुझे असली काम करना था, वो तो साला रह गया. Because we keep having discussions about discussions. And the discussion may not lead anywhere constructive. So whenever you want to meet somebody new and you want to be friends with them, don't send them 20 messages. Keep it very short. Keep it very succinct. Give them the, as we say, give them the meat and potatoes. Asli maal de do unko. Meat and potatoes, as they say. All right? They to sirf chawal upar se. This is like a biryani metaphor. Those who know me know how much I love biryani. All right? Another really nice way to meet new people is ask them for an opinion. All human beings love to give their opinion. Some little bit more shy. Some will say, मैं ही मिला था अगर तेरे को ये बकवास पूछने के लिए. But most people will give you an opinion, whether it's an opinion for who's a good person to service my AC, whether it's opinion for where do you think we get the best butter chicken, or where do you get the best sev puri in this area. Ask people for an opinion because it shows them that you value their thoughts, and it warms them up. It warms them up to speak to you. It warms them up to receive what you have to give to them. Even if you know the answer, sometimes asking for an opinion is a very nice, simple way to let them know that you are thinking about them. Okay? Because now physically it's difficult to meet people. You can ask people for their opinion even on WhatsApp. And I have a lovely example for you ahead. Okay? The third thing is keep your information handy. For example, all of y'all, assuming y'all are in your early 20s or late teens, y'all are in that particular age group, all of y'all must have a LinkedIn profile. I'm not bullshitting you. A LinkedIn profile, an Instagram profile, a Facebook profile or page is essential. If you have an opinion to share with the world, I would say go and start a YouTube channel as well. Get your YouTube channel as well started, all right? So your information should be very easily shareable. Someone connects with you within less than 12 seconds, they should know everything except your Rashi and your horoscope. They should know everything about you because eventually they will find out through Google, all right? Another nice way to meet new people is you offer them a compliment. Offer them a compliment doesn't mean you just directly tell them, oh, you are the most smart or the most beautiful or the most fantastic human being I've ever met on the planet. Like, ज़्यादा overdo भी मत करो, ज़्यादा हो जाता है कभी-कभी, है ना? Offer a compliment, be generous, but be sincere at the same time. Because if you overdo it, like if someone shares a lovely article on a group, offer them a compliment saying, this is a really nice article. I thought the insights were great, and please accept my gratitude, or thank you. Maybe don't say please accept my gratitude, say thank you for sharing it. Thank you for sharing it. I loved it. It's great. A little compliment, a few kind words, kahin kahin ke nahi gaye. It's extremely good, and it's a very nice feeling to acknowledge someone's contribution to your day, someone's contribution to your thinking. All right. Another way to break the ice when you meet someone new is use humor. Okay, you can share a funny but neutral observation. All right. It could be anything. See, humor doesn't come naturally to everyone. So maybe you could say something funny. See, like I always wondered what it's like to be in prison, and now that dream has come true because of the coronavirus. I'm in a jail and it's called home. Okay, I guess it's not the funniest joke, but it's a funny but neutral observation. So, for example, one of the more silly conversational openers for me used to be like, I don't know what to be scared more of, the coronavirus or Modi ji's speeches about the coronavirus. Both are equally scary, and both have gone on for too long. He takes 1 hour to say what can be said in 7 minutes, and that virus is also going on for endlessly. So you see, you can use humor with care. Okay, you don't have to crack anti-Modi jokes, but a neutral observation and the use of humor is a very nice way to sort of take away that essential sense of unease and anxiety which you might be feeling, or even the person in front might be feeling. All right. How do you meet new people during a pandemic? करोड़ रुपए का सवाल ये रहा आपके computer screen पे. All right. There are WhatsApp groups, guys. I've noticed a lot of people are in a hurry to leave WhatsApp groups because they feel we're on too many groups. That WhatsApp group is like having a stage and a ready audience for your opinions. You may not have anything to say, but you can at least observe what's happening in there. And there's this wonderful thing on WhatsApp called private message. So if someone messages something on your group chat, you do a hard press on it and you can reply privately to that message. So when you reply to them, it contextualizes what they have said on group chat. Use the private message function on WhatsApp. Press the reply privately to contextualize what was happening. All right. The second thing is ask within your network of friends if there are certain hobby groups. For example, Mumbai has a huge community of board gamers, chess players, those who do miniature paintings. There are groups on cooking and sharing recipes. There are yoga-based groups. There are groups for cycling. And there are groups that unmute themselves as well. Someone is unmuted. Clear your throat, have a glass of warm water, and please mute yourselves. Otherwise, Zoom is here to punish us for wasting time, all right? And then that'll be funny. All right, so please mute yourselves. Whoever is the admin, I hope you are. I'm going to wait till the person is muted. Okay, how do we meet new people during a pandemic? Use WhatsApp groups. The private message function is a beautiful thing, all right? Hobby groups, ask within your network. Point number 3, offer a service or intel. Or in the old movies, the 1970s, they used to say police ka khabri. So please be the police ka khabri, not by spreading fake news on WhatsApp, but offer a service or intel. For example, I'm the guy who usually knows where to get food from in my building. So whether they need dumplings or bloody momos, or they need biryani, or they need pizzas, whatever the hell they need, if it's not on Swiggy, it's in here. So I volunteer that kind of information from time to time, not every day. So people know that, so they will contact me because I just share the number with them. It doesn't take much time for me. And us bahane, I've made a new acquaintance. Maybe we are not best friends, maybe we are not planning a Goa trip together, but at least they know of my existence, that there is a Dr. Aman Bhonsle who lives within this larger universe who is here to help. So offer a service, offer intel, because a lot of people are panicking, a lot of people are scared, and a lot of people are unmuted. All right, please mute yourselves. Someone else is unmuted. So if you could just there's a beautiful little red button where you press it and you mute yourselves. All right. So these are some ways you can meet new people. You're offering a service, you're joining a hobby group, you're doing a direct reply on WhatsApp. The fourth one is you become Fevicol. You can connect two people from your network who don't know each other but who you know very well, and you know that if these two people come together, they'll get married. No, they won't get married, but they can marry their intent. They can combine forces and come up with something. Maybe maybe they can help each other in their professions. Maybe they can become good referral sources to each other. I do this every week. I'll connect two people and then I'll leave that WhatsApp group, so they feel extremely pleased with the fact that Aman has helped us meet someone interesting or someone who is useful to me or my business. Correct? The last point, how to meet new people during a pandemic, is become the Goswami. Become the Goswami. What does this mean? So basically become like Rushabh. Organize Insta Live, organize a Zoom talk, become Goswami, have your own little show. I mean, this is technically like a little show. It has a little windows. You have me talking to you guys, gala phad phad ke. It's a great place to create knowledge sharing, these apps, and I think it's really wonderful if you become a catalyst for something like that. You'll build a lot of goodwill, your spoken skills will be, and your presentation skills will improve. And definitely, it's just a very nice way to bring people together. You guys have obviously taken a lot of effort. 98 participants is a very, very beautiful thing. And if all 98 of you now have my contact details, which are in the bottom, and I'm always careful to include that on each slide, except this one. Sometimes I don't include it. Now, a private reply example, and I had also said this point that your contact details should be very easy. So I'm actually sending you a screenshot from one of my chats. Why have I blacked some things out? For privacy purposes. Okay, so don't be creepy and later message me, actually kya bola tha. Okay, so someone has replied so true to something I have posted on a group, which is my building group. So I sent a direct message to this lady saying, thank you for liking my message. Always glad to meet like-minded individuals at Dioro. Dioro is the name of my building, so now you know where I live. All right. This is Dr. Aman Bhonsle here. I moved into blah, blah, blah on this date. So she said, hi, I have been reading your posts on the group. They're sharp and logical. Nice to meet, whatever. I say, thank you for my kind words, and look how I send all my contact details. This is how I send it to everyone. My name is there. My credentials are there. My digital business card is there. LinkedIn, Insta, YouTube, Facebook page, my business website, personal website, mobile number. Mobile number तो obviously है उनके पास because I'm sending them a message on WhatsApp. फिर भी भेज दिया. Email भी भेजा है. मेरा company name अलग से भेजा है in case they shouldn't have to research that. So this is a template I send to everyone. So this makes my information very shareable also. Because tomorrow someone says to them, Arey, we need a psychotherapist for someone. They'll say, Arey, haan, that guy is a very sweet gentleman who lives in our building, and I get a referral as well. So this is how you have to build your network. Okay, you have to be very, some people will say you have to be aggressive. I say you have to be diligent about it. Okay? And you have to mute yourself as well. Someone is unmuted, admin requests you to mute them. What are the 5 goof-ups that you could carry out if you do introduce yourself? First is if you talk too much and only about yourself. मुझे पता है ये पसंद है, मुझे पता है सलमान खान अच्छा लगता है, मुझे पता है ये अच्छा लगता है खाने में ये. So if it's all about you, the person in front eventually loses interest. The person eventually loses the inclination to let you go on and on about yourself. If you're introducing yourself for the first time, second point is very important. Stop cribbing about a problem you are having to a complete stranger. They may not have any emotional investment in helping you out. So if you sound needy or clingy or whiny or I need you or please tell me what to do, usually that's a very putting off. Because you see, if you do that with an old friend, they'll say, "ठीक है, क्या हुआ? I'll try to sort you out." Do that with a stranger, they'll say, "यार ये तो this person seems very either immature or maybe there is a volatility inside this person कि यार उसको कुछ तो शायद help की ज़रूरत है, अपने को नहीं पढ़ना है इसके अंदर." Okay. Another thing when you introduce yourself is don't be over familiar. I notice people start doing this. You don't even know the person and you start cracking jokes at their expense. अरे तू तो वैसा है. अरे तेरे को तो समझ में. अरे your name is so funny. It rhymes with this. So people can be very childish on WhatsApp groups or even, in group meetings. Suddenly you start cracking jokes. Like, I personally don't appreciate that. I mean, if I crack a joke on myself, it's very different from you cracking a joke at my expense because you don't even know me. We don't even have that relationship. So that's very important and it's very, very crucial for those boundaries to be kept. So when you are meeting someone new, don't be too funny. I remember I had said you want to use humor during an icebreaker, it has to be about a neutral topic. Not directly at that person. कि अरे तेरा रंग कैसा है, अरे तू कितना funny बोलता है. Another thing when you introduce yourself is if you type in a lazy manner on WhatsApp and if your sentences are full of grammatical errors or का द हो गया है and there is too many and एक line you are sending, information is not consolidated, you may come across as lazy, disingenuous and unfocused. And you may not actually be this way. That's the sad part. You may not actually be this kind of person, but you will come across that way because that first impression is extremely crucial. It'll haunt you. Okay. Another big mistake people make when they're making new introductions, they over apologize. Sorry if I'm taking your time. Sorry, but I need your help. Sorry, but actually I wanted to talk about something. Sorry kya yaar? Don't be a doormat. If you keep saying sorry for everything, people are going to start thinking this person has no self-respect for himself or herself. So stand tall, and be confident about yourself. You don't have anything to be ashamed of. All right, we're all, as Bappi Larry says, we are all together in Corona. All right, there's that video, I saw it yesterday. So funny. What are the 5 traits of a healthy friendship, guys? You can be honest with each other without being brutal. A lot of people confuse the two. I am brutally honest. No, when you're brutally honest, it means you are negligent about how your words could hurt people, how your words could really pierce through their consciousness. So don't be brutal, yeah. You can be honest, but you can be gentle about it. You can be empathetic about it. You can be kind, and please be brief about it. What are the other traits of a healthy friendship? You share values with each other. You all both have values such as maybe integrity or spontaneity. These are values, these are values that are very core to you. Or you share resources, you share information, or you all watch movies together, Netflix parties, you all have the same app, you all have video calls, or you all talk to each other, or you share cooking tips with each other, whatever it is you share. All right? A healthy friendship is all about non-judgmental behavior. See, you may disapprove of something your friend does, but you don't judge them for it. You can talk to them about it, and that brings me to the 4th point. Help each other to grow. Be honest, give feedback. All right, that's what a good friend does. Good friend says, boss, you really need to buck up. You've put on some weight and it's not looking good. Or you really need to buck up. I know you've been sleeping at 4 in the morning and waking up at 2 in the afternoon, but you really got to do this, man. Your career will stagnate otherwise, and you have so much talent and potential. So they help each other grow, but they're not brutal about it. And the most obvious point is, if you're good friends, you must have fun with each other and be able to keep it fresh. The वही चीज़ आप करोगे, so you have to find interesting new activities, even virtual activities, even though you're physically not meeting, virtual activities. If you don't know what virtual activities you could do, you could ask for suggestions, or you could Google it. You could see what people are doing in other parts of the world. Just don't take start bajawing thalis in the middle of the road or doing something funny like that, okay? Please stay home. 5 traits of an unhealthy friendship is when y'all are constantly blaming each other. Blame games are there. Y'all are possessive about each other. Like if that one of your friends suddenly starts giving you less time because they've made some new friends who they really gel with, you become possessive. Oh shit, this is my friend. How can this person is going and speaking to that person? That's very immature. It's very clingy, very needy. So if that's a sign of an unhealthy friendship. So then you guilt trip them for not giving you enough time. You become very mopey, you become very bitter. Lies and deceit in a friendship usually are the beginning of the end of that friendship. If there's no generosity in the friendship, there's no sharing of information, no sharing of warmth, no sharing of ideas, that's called the lack of generosity. That also tends to affect a friendship and tends to cause problems for that friendship. Disloyal behavior, इधर की बात उधर करना, उधर की बात इधर करना. These are traits of unhealthy friendships. That gossip, that little bit of whispering in each other's ears. Uh, it's a way of really, really showing disrespect to someone, and then they may completely pull out from that friendship. So these are some things you need to look out for. If you have friends with whom you already are in such unhealthy friendships, then believe me, that is like a ticking time bomb. And sooner or later, that friendship will expire, whether you like it or not. Oh dear, someone has scratched on my screen. Someone has annotated my screen. What's happening here? It's a ghost. The screen is possessed. Can you guys see what's happening here?
I think someone's at someone's house. That host must have gone out somewhere, and the small kid is drawing.
Yeah, that's possible, right?
Some paintings.
I was hoping for something more dramatic. I was hoping like the dwarfs or the elves have taken over, or there's a ghost inside the computer. I want something more dramatic. All right, I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
That host must have gone away somewhere.
Host has gone and left.
I think.
Host gaya hai, ghost aa gaya hai wapas. To scratch on my screen. Oh god, this is funny. This is funny. All right. I'm going to move along, guys. Wow, this is happening again. WO. This is like some kind of a message, is it? The aliens are here. All right. What are the problems during a pandemic of friendships? One is everything becomes very scattershot. Everyone is really looking into their own needs, their own problems, their own families, their own issues related to their businesses. So everything is a very scattershot approach. It's very difficult for you, and not just you, even for me, for anyone to know. It's really difficult to know who really cares for you at a time like this. A few people will be there who care for you, who will inquire about you, who really want what's best for you. But it's difficult to know, and that's perfectly normal. So see this as a period where you can use this period to assess who are really your friends and who are just around to hang out. Okay? The second issue with pandemic related issues of friendships is there's something called fear contagion which is taking place. Is there is a lot of negative news, and even if you don't access the news, somehow that news will reach you on WhatsApp, or it will make its way into a conversation, because there's a lot of fear. Just yesterday, there were 2 cases in my building complex for the coronavirus, and there was a lot of stuff on the group. How did this happen? Where did they go? What are their names? Where do they live? People are afraid. People are afraid of dying. People are afraid of falling sick. And that kind of negative news can really dampen your mood. And when your mood is dampened, you're in no position perhaps to go and start making new friends. Much rather want to go back to the old friends. People are lonely, ladies and gentlemen. People are very lonely during this time. I'll be lying if I said that there are some days where I don't miss my friends. I've been in my apartment, in my building complex, without leaving it even once since the 17th of March. Of course, there are some days I do miss seeing my parents who live just 20 minutes away, but I haven't seen them since 17th of March. Loneliness can get to a lot of us. But the more you enjoy your own company, the less it will hit you. That doesn't mean it won't hit you. And when you are confident, self-assured, are able to nourish yourself psychologically, you also make yourself that much more interesting for other people. All right. Now, there are some opportunities that you can avail of during this pandemic to develop new friendships. Don't forget one thing, and this is a very interesting point. Most people are on their phones, so that means you have their attention. That means they are looking at you. That means they are invested in their phones at least. So you have their attention, so you might as well share something that helps them. You might as well share something that affects them in a manner. Okay? You have something common to talk about. I mean, very often the struggle is, I don't know this person, what should I talk about with this person? Now you have a common topic. You can talk about Modi, you can talk about the pandemic, you can talk about anything at all. And that's excellent because you don't have to struggle to find out something that will maybe warm up the conversation, and then maybe that's your entry point to slide in, all right? um, you can offer support and encouragement to people even who you don't know, all right? You can say, can I help you in some way? Is it possible? Do you need some information? Do you have everything you need? Are everyone in your house healthy and okay? uh, Even verbal support, you don't have to necessarily send them checks, or even if you don't know someone. But for example, on building group chats, sometimes people get very agitated. I may just happen to check the WhatsApp at that time. I'll just send him a DM saying, hi, this is Dr. Aman Bhonsle. I hope you're doing well. You seem a bit agitated. I hope you find a way out of this. That's all I'll say. Then they may suddenly open up, or they may just do a thumbs up and say thank you. But at least they know someone has reached out and is concerned for them. It's a lovely feeling, you know. Even what happened with Sushant Singh Rajput about his suicide. Um, there was a conversation that followed that episode. People said that industry mein people are only friends. Movie industry mein people are only dikhave ke dost. They're only friends on the surface, but otherwise there are lobbies, there are politics, there are all kinds of forces at play. But don't forget something, and this brings me to my fourth point, and that is everyone needs a pick me up. Everyone needs a moment to sort of just feel like they are connected with what they want. And maybe you can help move them towards that moment. You can help nudge them in that direction, and they will be grateful in their hearts. All right? Even though you are all on social media, I'm sure, I keep saying this, you are visible while being invisible. So even though you are hiding behind a screen, so for example, whoever it is who was doing that to my screen, you are visible to yourself. You know who you are. All right? You know who you are, you know what you did, and that's all there is to it. Sooner or later, we catch up with our own selves, and that can be a very interesting transition point, and that can remind us of "Kaun kitne pani mein hai." All right, so you're always visible, but you're also invisible. So you can use social media during this pandemic to spread encouragement, to spread humor, to spread information, to spread news, to distribute your perspectives out there. Maybe you find people who connect with you because of that. I do that all the time. I keep sharing my perspectives. And I'm been brought up by a woman who has told me to never be arrogant about my perspectives and to always be open to learn new things. So I try to keep that learning with me at all times. So these are some interesting opportunities. So just because it's a pandemic, हम घर पे बैठे हैं, जा नहीं सकते, that is no bloody excuse to not be proactive. All right. Friendship isn't about finding your clone. All right. You don't have to find someone who's exactly like you, who talks like you, who thinks like you, who eats the same food, likes the same movie, likes the same music. It's about collaboration and growth. If you forget everything I have said up to this point, but only remember these two words, you've taken a lot from this webinar: collaboration and growth. The ability to fuse together ideas, to create a third idea, and to grow as an individual. Be curious, to learn. All right? I say this to my clients. I say, you can bullshit everyone. You can't bullshit yourself. All right? So, there was something Rushabh wanted me to touch on. How do we deal with the generation gap? Now, I know this comes suddenly out of nowhere. We're talking about friends and icebreakers during the pandemic. How do you deal with the generation gap? With your parents, or with people you live with, or even your landlord, whoever that is. The first thing, if you want to deal with the generation gap, is understand that they don't understand. A lot of things that you like, that you enjoy, which are part of your youth culture, were not a part of their youth culture. So if they don't understand it, that's not really their fault, because they didn't grow up with it, they didn't have the exposure. Maybe they weren't allowed, maybe their family didn't have the money. Sometimes your father may not approve that you're dating and not got your head buried in books. Your mother may not approve that you spend too much time in extracurriculars. A lot of people will not approve of a lot of things that you do, but that doesn't give you the excuse to be callous about it. See, talk with respect, care, and sensitivity to anyone long enough, and they will at least listen to you. They may not agree with you, I'm not saying this is not Munna Bhai MBBS where you give Jadoo ki Jappis, hold hands and sing Kumbaya and everyone's gonna, dunya khoobsurat ho jayegi. I'm not gonna spread lies to you guys, okay? There are some complicated problems in families, there are issues, uh, cultural, socio-cultural issues, financial issues. But the idea is that if you talk with enough respect, care, and sensitivity, at least you don't become target number one. You become target number 6. You go down the target hierarchy. But you will get targeted at some point or the other by someone who doesn't understand you, your lifestyle, your values, and why is someone scratching on my slide again? God damn it, it's happening again. Okay. Learn to deal with your problems independently. See, the more you show your parents that you are able to think and act with clarity, the more they will not want to micromanage you. Again, this is not a universal law, but a lot of teenagers, a lot of people in your age group who are brought to me for counseling, the parents say that he or she doesn't know how to run their life, doesn't know how to plan their day, doesn't know how to self allocate work. Now, all these three things are the hallmark of being an adult, are the hallmark of being someone sharp, intelligent, resourceful, and in the long run, maybe even successful. So learn to deal with your problems independently. Get, this whole Atmanirbhar Bharat, which people were trolling and making fun of on Twitter and creating memes. It's actually such an important thing that Modi ji said. Maybe one of the few things I agree with him on is you really need to be self sufficient, because you come alone, you go alone. So, whatever your problems are, academic problems, money problems, a part of those problems have to be looked at independently by you rather than you sitting around the living room and only complaining about Meri Phuti Kismat, or you complaining about how unfair the world is. It is unfair. Too bad. Deal with it. It was always unfair. It'll be unfair even after you die. It is an unfair world, right? Do not hanker for 100% approval ratings in your family. You will never get them. Never, 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 never. Even if you come back with the Nobel Prize and the Padma Bhushan, there will always be someone either in your extended or your near and dear family who says, अच्छा, अब तो ये बहुत बड़ा आदमी हो गया है, अच्छा, अब तो ये हमको भूल जाएगा. So whatever the hell you do, you're not going to get 100% approval ratings. Neither did Gandhi get them, neither did Mother Teresa get them, neither did Gautam Buddha get them. Why the hell should you bloody get them? Alright? So if you keep wanting the approval ratings, you're not going to get them. So that is a very useful tip if you're dealing with a generation gap. See, they're not supposed to approve of everything I wear, everyone I meet, everything I want, everything I see. Parents can sometimes be judgmental. Sometimes they can say, "Kya bakwas dekhte rehte ho tum Netflix pe? What is all this rubbish?" Okay? Last point is you have to prepare to pay a cost for your dreams. The way you get nothing in this world is free. Your dreams are not free either. You are going to have to battle through the disapproval of family, through the deadlocks set by your industry, through the limitations of even your own skills that may not have caught up with what you need to be doing. So there's several hurdles through which you will have to jump. It's like a military obstacle course, and you have to pay the cost for it. You have to pay a cost even in friendships, all right? You have to pay a cost in everything. Nothing in this world is free, so stop expecting free things. So are you ready to make a new friend during this pandemic or even after it ends? Work on becoming a more interesting person. And this is something you can do by reading books, by keeping yourself well versed with world politics, having a reasonable exposure to pop culture. Like, I remember people who never watched Game of Thrones used to feel very left out when people would start talking about Game of Thrones. Instant bonding point. Arey season 7 mein pata hai, arey season 8 mein pata hai kya hua. So, a decent appetite for pop culture, world events, maybe sports. I don't like sports, but maybe music. Find out more about the world you live in. Trust me, there's a lot of knowledge outside bookish knowledge that is out there to make you more interesting as a person. Think about what you can offer a friendship rather than only thinking about what you can get from it. Because the more things you have to offer, the chances that they will want you around, your friends will want you around that much more. If they say, यार इससे मेरे को पता है बहुत चीज़ें सीखने को मिलती है, or I get connected to so many interesting people through this person. Don't worry about being instantly liked by people. Even in old Hindi movies, you see how much the hero has to run after the girl, sing two, three songs around two, three forests, and there's a waterfall in the background, and then maybe she starts liking him. So sometimes you have to really pitch and pitch hard. You will not instantly be liked in all likelihood because people carry within them judgment, biases, preconceived notions, or as we call in transactional analysis, everyone is living out their script. I teach a subject called transactional analysis, and of course, it's a little deep into the psychotherapy space, but I have a book as well. You can Google it later. It's called Essential TA, A Common Sense Psychology. Uh, the fourth point is please be open. But just because you're open, that doesn't mean you let everyone into your life. You have to be selective about your friends. Now, arguably, in your early 20s, you won't be. But once you start reaching your late 20s, you start learning this fine art of being selective. Realize that everyone who surrounds you is not necessarily your friend, everyone who surrounds you is not necessarily your enemy. But at the same time, you got to be selective. Be adaptable. There is no such thing as an ideal friend. Okay, people come with their limitations, people come with their own agendas, and it's important for you to remember that people will be people, which is something I mentioned on my slide. All right, this is my Instagram account, lsnow8. Mark the spelling, take a screenshot if you need to. ELSNOH8. You want to follow me here, you want to talk to me, you want to be up to date with any future webinars I do, this is the best place to do it. I post a lot of things here. All right. That's my Instagram channel. I mean, I opened it to the public only recently, so there are not too many followers. Not that I care. It's just a way for me to reach out to people. So please go and follow me if you like what I've said here, or you feel like I've piqued your curiosity. I'm also on LinkedIn. So if you ever want to invite me for a collab or for a conversation or for a chat, I will come as long as you don't scratch on my screen. All right. Whoever did that, very, very clever.
I can appreciate one thing after scratches also, and that maybe that small kid was doing all this. You could maintain your mood.
Yeah, but it's my job, right? It's my job. I gotta.
No. It's very important. It's very important because sometimes you may lose your mood also. Like, yeah, I will do that. No, you never said that. That if you're cheerful, these things you could maintain that better or not.
Kyuki, I'm a big fan of this guy.
That's very important.
I'm a big fan of this guy. I don't lose focus. What I need to do, I need to do. Anyone know who that is? That's Bruce Lee. Okay? Huge fan of him. So for me, it's like I need to do this. I need to deliver this lecture to these kids, regardless. Even if there's a giant shark that appears in the background and tries to bite my head off, I will still finish the damn lecture. All right? I'm a finisher. So thank you for that compliment. And
performer may pro performer may throw tantrums also. ये क्या है
और मैं भी tantrum फेंकता हूँ अभी ये क्या है क्या हुआ who's the smart ass? All right, I have good role models. Love Bruce Lee. Stay focused, man. The big game, always the big game. Any more questions, guys? Thank you for that compliment, Sandeep uncle. Thank you.
How to deal with fear or losing someone?
Well, it's a very legitimate fear. You will lose people either because of changing circumstances or some. I have lost people as well. 5 of my friends have died since 2008, and not a very pleasant feeling. I haven't died together, different circumstances. People exit your life, but it's like this. Either you can live in fear and make yourself miserable, or you can be practical about it and say this is just how life is. Life is uncertain. Sometimes it's unfair, and there is no way to predict the future. There's no way. No one's figured it out. No one has cracked that formula. So really, it's about you being realistic about the fact that you have control over what. We live our lives in one day at a time. We live our days 1 minute at a time. So you have control over a very limited sphere of time. So if you commit yourself to that moment, you commit yourself to that, to whatever you need to do, that's the only way to live. Otherwise, it's either regrets or it's fears. So there's no way to eradicate fear. I feel fear too sometimes. If my father is not well, if he's not, I will feel fear. If I feel like, if suddenly that day there was a lot of rain and suddenly a lot of water came, I was afraid my rug would get spoiled. So there was fear. But fear is very normal. It's a part of the human experience. You can never get rid of fear. And yes, you will lose people. So make your peace with it. All right? Instead of trying to fight it. And know that when they do go, you have some beautiful memories to cherish. That's what I do when I think about my friends who are no longer there. I think about all the great memories I shared with them. And I feel grateful that they did share those moments and those memories with me. I hope that answers your question. It's a slightly deep question. How to stop engaging in past regrets and move on. So I always tell people to wear your mistakes like a badge of honor, that you have been through a shit fest, you have been through an embarrassing ordeal, only to emerge smarter on the other side. If you have not emerged smarter, there is a problem. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, even now. But I'm not afraid of them. I embrace them as part of my journey, as part of my growth. So stop blaming yourself. I think everyone makes mistakes. How to trust anyone? Unfortunate?
I'm sorry, sir.
What's happening? What's unfortunate?
Unfortunately, we just have 1 minute left again.
So what do we do?
Zoom is just not letting us continue today.
No problem.
Anyone has any questions, please, they can come forward and ask.
Or you can step backward and ask as well, all right? But ask regardless. We're down to 44 people, so we had a slightly more larger number of people at the outset, but that's fine. It's dinner time now for most people. No, early dinner, I would say. I'm having pav bhaji for dinner, by the way, so I'm quite excited. Yeah. Yeah. Any questions you may have?
Does anyone have any questions? Yes, Sunny ji, I'll unmute you.
It was my mistake. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I've got one question. What do you do when you start feeling one-sided? Start feeling one-sided? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Oh, do you mean once I'm very confused. Can you please clarify? What does it mean to feel one-sided? What is the difference between relationship and love? Love is the emotion that usually leads to the relationship. The relationship usually leads to a marriage. The marriage leads to having a kid, a family. You buy a house, you buy a car, etc. So that's what the difference is, technically. Social media seems to worry us or make us depressed a lot of times. How can we deal with it? Stop indexing your life. Stop indexing your life based on what people are showing you on social media. Do you understand what that means? When I say please stop indexing your life, see, people are going to show you only the best aspects of their lives on social media. No one's going to put a photo of the fight that they had or a video of the fight they had with their father. No one's going to post a selfie video after they've broken up. Or they may. So it's not really social media. It is your assumption that people are having fantastic, hunky-dory, picture-perfect lives. That assumption is what is hurting you, not the social media itself. Social media is an advertising tool. After that, it is a tool to connect with people. So if people are advertising that they have a good time and a good life and good-looking friends and great holidays in Croatia and Costa Bravia, that's a very different thing. So don't say social media makes me depressed. What you read into social media, those perceptions are what are causing what you refer to as depression. It could just be social anxiety and jealousy. It doesn't have to be termed as depression. If the other person shows a lack of interest, simple advice, move on. You should not have to beg a person to make space for you in their life, because then that comes at the cost of your self-respect. It comes at the cost of your dignity. What do you have to say about balancing studies with friendships and relationships? See, we have limited number of hours in the day, so you get to choose how much time you give to your friends, how much time do you give to your academic career, how much time do you give to your family. So any of the three departments are neglected, those departments start biting back. So it's about creating a schedule. Even if you can't get on a phone call with your friends, one WhatsApp message, hey, how's it going? I hope your day was good, should suffice. And if they're a close enough friend, they'll understand that, yeah, you're having a busy day or a busy, sort of busy calendar. They'll understand. How to identify true love? Wow, this is a very long conversation we need to have. This itself can be a webinar. I think true love is about generosity. True love is about sharing. True love is about warmth and collaboration. I think true love is about expectations, but you don't demand from the person what you want. You supply, and then you gently slide in your expectations. And because of the generosity aspect of it, the person gives love, companionship wholeheartedly. I overthink about things that happened in my past and make my present miserable. What should I do? Everyone does this. Everyone does this to some extent. We are all living a certain part of our life is, our past is like an archived video cassette or a CD or whatever it is, like a digital file that keeps playing in our minds. Know that every time you play back that file, those emotions that you have experienced in the past become dynamic in you again. The best thing to do is, if it's really your past is really wreaking havoc, please go see a therapist. They specialize in helping you deal with your challenges and your problems. Every time heartbreak because of someone, what to do? Again, something that requires counseling. It's not a very what to do, get over that person. No, I'm not going to give you cookie cutter advice. You're going to need to recover. You're going to need to forgive them at some point. You may not be ready for it. We encounter people who have different sets of values from us. It drains me out when I have to get along with them while working in groups. How can I not lose my calm? It's a very interesting question, Prima. Know that people you work with need not subscribe to your values. People you live with need not subscribe to your values. This is just the reality of life. Everyone will have different sets of values. But know that you don't, the success of the project or working in that group is not solely resting on your shoulders. It is resting on the shoulders of everyone involved. So now, give you a very simple example. I had a choice when someone was scribbling on the screen. To lose my calm, I could have got really angry and said, screw it, you guys call me, and then you have no respect for the speaker, and you guys are this and that. But for me, as I said, I like Bruce Lee. I don't lose focus. Alright? When I'm sleeping, I'm sleeping. I will not take calls. But when I'm working, for me, it's the mindset of going to war. There's no no bullshit. There's no ambiguity. I got to do it means I got to do it. So I have a ability which I have developed to keep my emotions apart on one side, and to keep the task and the fact that I owe you a responsibility as attendees of my webinar to finish the content. So it's really about a personal philosophy, Prima. Yeah. When someone is trying to correct their mistake that they have made in the past, I still feel insecure that they'll repeat it. Oh, it's very possible that they'll repeat it. It's very, very possible that they will repeat it, because people are creatures of habit, and we do things that we have repetitively done, even if we know that doing it is causing us misery or is getting us into difficult situations. But the fact still remains that it's about negotiation. Trust is negotiated. Trust is not something you give out freely. So if you are insecure about someone's behavior, you go talk to them. You say, hey, what do you think that you could do to make me trust you more? Or what's in it for me? What's in it for me to trust you again? Because I'm afraid that I will fall flat on my face and then land up with a nose like Michael Jackson. I fall flat on my face, my trust is broken, my expectations are fractured, my self-esteem will suffer. So why should I continue with this, whatever it is, right? So you are well within your right to doubt that they will do it again. Mostly they will. Avinash is asking how to control anger. Avinash, I run a very well-received anger management workshop. If you're interested in it, you will have to reach out to me. If you go find me on Instagram and LinkedIn, and we'll take this conversation later. All right. I know my answers are very short, guys, but here's the thing. A lot of these questions have very multi-layered answers, and it's not just a one-sided answer, okay? This is not a TED talk. Counseling is a two-way process. There's a lot of give and take. There's a lot that I give my clients and counselees to take with them, and then they come back, reflect onto it, and then we find ways to move forward with whatever it is that they do work at home. It's called self-work. It's called homework. It's a very, I know homework now people are like, अरे यार कौन करेगा यार छोड़ना यार. But if you want to get better and not just feel better, you want to feel better, go get a pedicure. All right, you want to get better, you come see a therapist, a psychotherapist, not a massage therapist. All right, we're here to change your attitudes, we're here to change your beliefs, we're here to change how you think. Because no one owes you success, no one owes you happiness, no one owes you peace, no one owes it to you. It's something you got to go and get for yourself. Go and get it yourself. A psychotherapist or a psychologist, we are like, we give you the treasure map. We say, dekho, this is X marks the spot. This is how you get there. Take a boat, chalte bano. This is how you want to make your clients independent of the therapy process also. Need to they become very dependent, and then they don't ever develop their own resources. So for a lot of therapists, our own resources have to be strong. If I start losing my marbles during a Zoom call because someone is scribbling on my screen, what kind of psychotherapist does that make me? I gotta first learn to practice all these things on myself. So before you expect people to change for you, ask yourself how difficult it is for you to change. It's not easy, is it? It's not easy at all. So you owe that to yourself. Okay, and I hope those of you all who are still here, who are still listening, hope those of you all find me on Instagram, drop me a text, say hi. Love to hear from you guys. LinkedIn, Instagram, and of course all the other details are there. Please no good morning messages, okay, on WhatsApp, and mass forwards. Those are really, really irritating. Okay, that irritates because there are good morning messages. All right. So yeah, but you're welcome to reach me if you need an appointment or something, right? Who's this? Who's that?
Sir.
Yes. Hi. What's up?
Hello. Sir, first of all, good evening, sir, and thank you so much, the organizer, and as well as you.
Someone was speaking and now they are muted. No problem. Go ahead and unmute yourself again.
Hello,
Yes,
sir.
we have someone who has a question for you, sir.
Yeah, am I audible?
Oh yes.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. First of all, good evening, sir, and thank you so much, the organizer, as well as you, for this wonderful seminar. So my question is just simple. We meet a lot of friends, you can say persons from childhood till now. So how we deal with them? For example, if I have a friend from childhood, we meet now for very long time. For example, जब स्कूल में मिला है, अभी सीधा अभी जॉब के बाद मिल रहा है, तो उसको हम लोग रिएक्ट कैसे करें? कॉन्वर्सेशन कैसे स्टार्ट करें? आपने कैसे किया था?
Well, you just ask them what's happening with their life. You express a genuine curiosity about what they've been doing. Arrange a phone call or a video call and say, भाई बहुत सालों से मुलाकात नहीं हुई, चलो बातें कर लेते हैं. Let's catch up. क्या हुआ 2002 से 2006 के बीच क्या हुआ तुम्हारे लाइफ में? Break it down into periods. If you're curious, people like talking about themselves. So ask them about what they've been up to. Tell them, अरे कुछ tell me something funny that happened, or tell me something that difficult that you had to go through and you finally succeeded in tackling that problem. People will share. If it's an old friend, you can definitely. But if you're just going to sit around and wait कि उसने क्यों नहीं फ़ोन किया मुझे, उसको भी करना चाहिए ना, तो फिर रुकते रहो, फिर आप ज़िंदगी भर रुकते ही रहोगे. Either you can be one of those people who waits and complains, or you can be one of those people who says, God damn it, I'm going to take an initiative. मैं घुस रहा हूँ, पूरी तरह घुस रहा हूँ, all cards in, slide your cards across the table and say, this is me, this is who I am. आपको एक्सेप्ट करना है तो स्वीकार करना है तो कर लीजिए, रिजेक्ट करना है तो चले जाइए. ऐसी क्या बात है? हाँ, रिजेक्ट तो बुद्धा और जीसस भी हुए थे, बड़ा रिजेक्ट हुए थे. but that didn't stop them from doing what they had to do. I'm not at all religious, but I do believe in the power of willpower. That's the only power that matters at the end of the day, isn't it? Isn't it? So yeah. Any more questions, or are we wrapping this up?
I think that would be all, sir. Thank you so much for joining us today, and it was really an amazing interactive session. It was a pleasure to have you, sir, and we are extremely sorry on our part for all those mishaps, whatever we had. And I definitely think I need to attend your anger management session.
Who's this? Divya, is it?
We are
Divya, who's?
extremely sorry. Yes, yes.
दिव्या
sir.
गुस्सा हो गई मैं गुस्सा हो गई कबीर सिंह का म्यूजिक बजने लगा था दिव्या this is for you this is for you this is what you can punch people with it when you're angry ऐसे बोला कैसे तूने किया
No, sir, but it's just that we get in these like amazing speakers like you, and it becomes disrespectful for the speaker too. We put in all efforts all week
I know
to arrange.
but this is an interesting thing you know
Thank you
Divya
so much.
that's life sometimes we put in the effort and it still reigns over our expectations that's just life you got to accept it you know
Yes.
for every
Yes.
5 interesting people you meet you'll meet 5 other people who may not be as interesting or may not be as driven or may not agree with you and you have different values all kinds यार दुनिया में हर type के लोग हैं accept करो move on don't let it affect you
So thank you so much, sir, for all the tips. And I would like to say to our audiences that the main motive behind planning all these sessions is to bring some positivity in your life amid this coronavirus lockdown period. So keep joining us and keep loving us the same way as you are doing. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We'll also add in sir's details. He has his own Heart to Heart Counselling Centre, so you can message him to know more about his counseling courses. And thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure to have you today.
I'm just sharing my Instagram
Okay.
handle on chat. So that's the fastest way to reach me. So those of y'all who are still here, 40 of y'all are still here. So go and follow me. All right? I would love to see you there.